Lord is our shepherd. We have everything we need. He makes us to rest in the meadow's grass. He leads us beside the quiet stream. He restores our failing hands, and he helps us to do what honors him most. That's why we give our lives, to be of help to one another, to know what it means to love and to be loved, to know what it means to give and receive, and to know what it means to have respect for one another's lives. So at this time, I am going to turn things over into the hands of Sean Klosky, President of Rebuild Metro. Come on, let's give him a hand. Amen.
Thank you very much, Pastor Keene. I think each time it seems like we find the hottest day of the year to gather, so I think we've checked that box. And it really is, everyone in this tent has collectively come together, and I mean everybody, to do something as a community to make change. This has been our annual recommitment to a Johnson Square vision that was set out by Regina and a bunch of leaders to say, hey, this is our neighborhood, let's make it better. And as an entire community, we came together, and that's the definition of the we. So today, like every year, we sort of highlight something in the plan that's going to change, or sometimes more than one thing because it's a big plan. So today, one of the things that's changing is we have $14 million of resources that we're going to use to rehabilitate abandoned properties. The ones right here, to my right, your left, are already under construction. The one all the way to your right will be under construction. At the same time, we're going to do a lot in this park and redevelop a couple of really key buildings. But the core to the work we did in the community planning was about the people that live on this block, or many people that live on blocks just like this. In the planning, we didn't want to give them the front row seat to what everyone else does, which is to make this an awesome park. So that this is the 50-yard line of a state-of-the-art football field. And in either end zone are these wonderful multifamily buildings with great storefronts. And then we say to the folks that are living and have been living next to vacant buildings, sorry, we don't do that, we do this. Giving them a front row seat to what they can't have. Instead, we said, if they're our neighbors, if they're the very people, as Pastor said, that we love, what is the loving thing to do? It's to rebuild the community where the community is. Yeah. The other stuff is fine, right? The other stuff is fine, but this is where our people are. So this is part of a $160 million plan, and it is all of us, it is our plan. I know that anyone who's heard me knows that I could preach, and I'm not going to. It's a hot day. And Pastor Keene, he had a very short homily, so must I. So what I'm going to do is instead turn it over to Mayor Scott and really thank him and his administration for being such great leaders. The city, and I saw Andy Franks here, the city, the BOE, this is the city's land. This is all the land that this community owns, and it's turning into a park. These vacant houses are all part of the LDA. This is our commitment, and it is the mayor's commitment, first as council president, now as mayor, to move this forward. They're supporting the demolition. I won't get into that. I don't want to steal someone else's thunder. They're supporting the parks, all of it. And we want to thank Commissioner Alice Kennedy for being here. Kate, I didn't see her if she's here, but Angie Ennis, Joe Kushner, Tony Badon, the permits department, Stacy Montgomery, Amani, all of these people together make this happen, and they're part of your team, Mayor. So thank you very much.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Sean, for that kind of introduction. It is a hot day, but that's because Johnson Square is hot all the time. And hot for all the right reasons. It is a great day to be here in Johnson Square. When we talk about a renaissance in Baltimore, this is what we talk about. A renaissance where people in their communities work to rebuild their community to be what they want it to be. As you heard from Sean, not what someone else determines it should be for them. And right before our very eyes, we are starting to see the things that we've heard talked about for so long, that the mayor of Johnson Square, Miss Regina Hammond, has said for so long that we want to see, seeing them come to fruition. And this is a progress and process that we all can be proud of. I want to extend a special thank you to many people and organizations that were the driving force behind this effort, including folks who couldn't be here today, like Senator Corey McCray, our 45th delegation, Delegate Branches, since there's two of them, and Delegate Smith, who are, as you can imagine, all at the polls. I saw them all when I went to go vote not too long ago. Our Councilman Robert Stokes, who I think he talks to me about Johnson Square more than any neighborhood in the 12th District. Our Deputy Secretary and our Housing Secretary from the state, but we have Deputy Secretary Owen McAvoy here, the entire Rebuild Johnson Square team. So let's give them a big round of applause. Led, of course, by Madam Mayor, the entire team at Rebuild Metro, Build, Barco, Parks and People, any and everybody who is saw fit to believe in what's happening here, right here in East Baltimore. Because we all know that tackling the issue of boarded up and blighted properties is one of the key ways that we will rebuild our neighborhoods and ensure success of our communities. And through DHCD, we have been preparing the area for redevelopment, investing more than $5 million to pave the way for this meaningful progress that we shall see. Because we know that even in the toughest market conditions, there are opportunities to build from the strength around us. And Johnson Square, as we know, is strong and becoming stronger every day and is primed for opportunity. I am gratefully thankful to the Rebuild Metro team for leading the reconstruction of 36 abandoned and deteriorated homes in this community. Think about that. There were 36 run-down homes in this community that weren't serving anyone, and now thanks to this incredible partnership and partners, there are going to be now 36 new opportunities for affordable home ownership in this community. And this is just the beginning of what's to come for Baltimore's high vacancy neighborhoods like Johnson Square and communities across East and West Baltimore. With our development partners, we are going to convert over 700 blighted and boarded properties into new affordable homes and vibrant green spaces for our residents. Over the course of our 10-year partnership, the plan is to take the number of vacancies in this area from 52% to 3% and increase home values without displacing our existing residents. The agreement serves as a pilot demonstration project and showcases an innovative model for revitalization, born out of and anchored in community-based equitable neighborhood development. This is a new and comprehensive approach and one to prevent and eliminate blight through a combination of rehabilitation, redevelopment for the benefit of low and moderate income individuals and families, and the approach that places community at the center of the planning process. Again, development with the community, not just in the community. This project is proof that when Baltimoreans commit their collective effort and resources to taking on some of our biggest issues, it will be a victory for us all. The families and future homebuyers in this neighborhood deserve a better place to live, and through strategic reinvestments and community leadership, we will rebuild Johnson Square into the neighborhood that we all know it can and will be. This means that this work means everything to all of us but to me, and it means everything to our residents who live in homes surrounded by vacant properties. This neighborhood will serve as a blueprint for Baltimore's renaissance and a shining example of how we can leverage our impact investment areas through ARPA funds and other city dollars to produce the best return on investment for our residents. This project will be transformative for this neighborhood in East Baltimore, but also for our city as a whole. And like I said at the start, it's a hot day to be in hot Johnson Square. And I will now turn it over to our great partners. We say that we have many partners at the state, but we know the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development has been our strongest partner over the past few years. And I would like to turn it over to Deputy Secretary McAvoy to give some remarks, but also to thank him and the Secretary, as I always do, for their deep partnership with us in Baltimore. Mr. Deputy Secretary.
I just want to start off by saying whose idea was it to get the tent, and thank you very much. We go to a lot of these things, and I try to wear a suit, and just thank you very much. Thank you. The mayor used the right word to, I think, describe what's going on around here, and that's the word renaissance. If you look around, you can sort of feel the change that's happening in this neighborhood. The great part of my job is, we get to go to a lot of these projects, and you sit on conference calls and you talk about financing and closing deals and things like that. But when you get to come out a day like today and sort of see the good work that's happening, it really makes my job fulfilling. And I know the governor, lieutenant governor, and the secretary feel the same way. So I want to give just a hand to all of you for the hard work that you put in. Congratulations. All right. And part of the good work that we're celebrating today is a significant milestone by Governor Hogan, a program announced last year called Homeownership Works. This particular site received somewhere in the neighborhood of a $5 million investment. It's part of a $10 million pilot program that the governor announced that's helping transform 2 neighborhoods across the state. It's helping existing homeowners with critical repairs and significant facade improvements. And the initiative is connecting these homeowners with pro bono legal services to solve title issues that restrict their ability to access additional state resources. Our department has selected another community besides here in Johnson Square. That's the historic Pine Street community in Cambridge. We selected both an urban and rural community for the pilot because we want to make this program something that serves all of Maryland. We knew these communities had the vision, the leadership, and the strong support from residents that would be needed to bring partners together to make this initiative successful. All of those things are on display today, and the state of Maryland is proud to be your partners. The new homes created in this community through this program will provide opportunities for sustainable home ownership that enable existing residents to remain in the community while attracting new homeowners, empowering revitalization and economic growth. Make no mistake, positive redevelopment is ongoing in Johnson Square and nearby communities. The state has provided support for a number of programs in the area, including new affordable housing at Green Mountain Chase, Roberta's House, Sojourner Place at Oliver, and of course the transformation of Perkins Somerset Old Town. In fact, the demolition of the remaining structures of Perkins Homes marked the 5,000th vacant unit removed by Governor Hogan's Project Core initiative, which also helped remove some of the blight at the end of the block. Positive progress is happening right here in Baltimore. And projects like this exemplify this ongoing progress. Working together, these collaborative and complementary efforts are helping usher in a new era of revitalization and economic growth that will transform the city, not just for today, but for future generations. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Secretary. I think now we're going to have Councilman Stokes come up, and Councilman Stokes is part of the regular every month meeting where the Johnson Square Partnership, which is a handful. It's Barco and Build and St. Francis and Parks and People and Rebuild Metro and Johnson Square Neighborhood Organization and the 6th branch and the Robert W. Deutsch Foundation and the city. And we all get together, and he is part of this tumult of folks and energy as we think, how do we make this place better? So Councilman, he's always talking about, hold up the people, what do the people need? Here he is, Councilman.
First, I want to thank God for being here today. That means a lot to me. But before I thank everybody, Pastor King, thank you. And I always tell a story. When I was younger, Pastor King, where he pastored, my uncle was the pastor there for a long time, about 50 years. So I always tell a story. Pastor King a little older than I am, but he used to take me across the street when I was a kid. So. Well, Mayor Scott, thank you, and Commissioner. But I always talk about equity. I always talk about it because we talk about it, but we got to be about it. And I want to thank C.L. McCoy. Yeah, I'm glad to see that sign. I'm glad to see, because it's a black neighborhood. We should be talking about equity and make sure everybody get a chance to eat and everybody get a chance to do business here with this whole development of $200 million. So I just want to thank, and I think Mayor Scott, you did it, Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development, Baltimore City Housing Community Development, the Harry and Jeanette Weinberg Foundation, the Robert Deutsch Foundation, the Able Foundation, Gold Seeker Foundation, the Charitable Foundation, the Johnson Square Partners. If it wasn't for y'all believing in yourselves, because I'm sure a lot of people said that's not going to happen here, and you should congratulate yourself because it's happening right now. Build Baltimore Arts and Realty Corporation, St. Francis Academy, who's building a great football field or practice field here. So it's going to be some great things, like you said, Mr. Mayor. It is hot in Johnson Square. Parks and People, 6th Branch, Baltimore City Department of Housing Development, and together, the Stewardship Committee of Johnson Square. I think y'all, the stewardship, y'all need to stand up. You know why? Because of your leadership, none of this would be happening, because, again, people probably told you it wouldn't happen. You got the new Greenmount Park. You're getting a new football practice field for the great St. Francis Academy School. So I am happy today. And Mr. Mayor, you got to keep the money in the 12th district. Thank you so much.
Amen on that. I want to continue beyond Chris McCoy, who's just doing a fabulous job here and has really been partnering throughout the district with us. We want to thank the folks at Steadfast Engineering, Cityscape Engineering. I see Magna here from Mosley and Martin, Neil Junker and Sharon from O'Connor, Kelvin from Roseburg Martin, and Ian Baines. All of those guys are part of the vertical construction, the stuff that makes a difference. But where the difference really starts is exactly where Councilman Stokes said. It happens when someone like Regina, who is the heart and soul of this place, gets up and says, we got to do better. And that's literally what she does, what Keith, what the Green Team does, what the block captains do, but really the heart and soul of this entire effort is Regina, and that's why she's the headliner. That's why she's going to bring us home. Regina?
You guys. Well, as usual, we are blessed with Johnson Square weather. I've got to say, whenever we make good trouble, we got great weather in Johnson Square to make it in. So let's talk about it a little bit. Most of you have been with us when we started making trouble. So where have we been? We transformed Henrietta Lacks Park. We built up those houses on Homewood Avenue that I drove Sean crazy. It's like, Sean, when you going to start building those houses? When you going to rehab those houses? Then we built the building on 700 Chase Street. Then I got with my husband and I said, well, Keith, we can adopt some lots and we can change these dumping grounds. So we ended up adopting 30 lots in Johnson Square, which him and Coach John mow. And then we created some gardens on a few of them. And stay tuned for that. But also, I just want to say we got that support, which means so much from the state as far as our legacy residents, because that was one of my main focuses. I said, we can't push people out. Those people, we have been here through the good, the bad, the ugly, and those people need to be taken care of. They are getting that funding to maintain their houses that they have owned 10, 20, 30 years here in Johnson Square, and they're going to be here to stay as well. So where we at today? That's where we've been, but today we're celebrating a new phase of revitalizing these 30 abandoned buildings. Do you remember coming up Biddle Street and like both sides of the street looked like that with these big red X's on it? It was just horrible. And so I'm just happy to see that, again, a dream come true, a vision come true, a total divine intervention. But where are we going in the future? We're not done yet. Hey, this journey has been blessed with hard-working community members who come when I call, no matter what kind of trouble I start. So we got phase 2 of Lax Park coming. We got phase 2 of Greenmount Park coming. We also have some multi-unit affordable housing and some retail space coming. You can come do some shopping over here for a change. And lastly, thanks to one of my friends out here in the audience, wait till you see phase 2 of Johnson Square Art and Garden Walk. So that's going to be exciting. So guys, stay tuned. We're still making trouble here in Johnson Square.
Fortunately for everybody, that wraps up the program with Pastor Cotton bringing it to a close. Anybody who wants to go across the street and see some of the stabilization work, we're more than happy to take you over there. The guys from McCoy are in the yellow vest. They're doing a great job. Thank you very much, Pastor. There you go.
Thank you, Sean. Now, all of you are in trouble. You had a Black Baptist pastor closing things out. And I am from Texas, and Black Baptist pastors in Texas, they announce about 7 closings before they finally finish. They say, I'm through now. I got one more thing to say. But at any rate, how wonderful it is. Now, they asked me to pray, and I'm going to pray. But as I age, I also know that it's as much as important to speak, and to speak briefly, and to speak from your heart on matters of this nature. How wonderful it is to see the diversity of people interested in positive solutions and positive projects rather than highlighting the bad and the negative that just drown us out. Baltimore is a great city, and we have an outstanding mayor. I'm going to say it one more time. We have an outstanding mayor. The pressures of maintaining and governing, and I'm not a politician, but the pressures of maintaining and governing is complex. And Mayor, you have darts coming at you from all ends, and when I see you, man, I'm praying for you and I thank God for you. Now let me do what you asked me to do. Bow with me for a moment. Gracious God, how wonderful and how grateful we are to you for all that you have done and all you're doing. We give you thanks, first of all, for this wonderful day and for our lives, for you having kept us, you having prepared us, the investments and the interest that you have birthed within each of us. We say thank you for the work that has happened, for the work that is going on now. We give you praise, we give you thanks for the people who have the connections, and especially the people that have the resources and the know-how. Thank you for them, and thank you for moving on their hearts and their minds to reach out and to develop relationships and partnerships one with another to change not only the outward appearance, but to change the lives of people who are now here and who will come later. I pray, God, that you remind us And don't let us forget what we've done, but remind us there's still work to do, and that we are the people that you're going to use to do so. Cover Regina, front and back. Watch over, continue to inspire her, continue to give her visions to share, and keep the enthusiasm within her. And don't let her get intimidated or afraid to keep asking. Because you said, knock, the door open, ask, and somebody will give. And God, we pray, I lift this prayer to you. In the matchless, mighty, and wonderful name of Christ, my risen Savior. Amen. Bless you.